My message is all about healing your gut, connecting to your gut, feeding your gut, so you can live from your gut. So that intuitive voice that's meant to guide all of us, that we all have, that we can hear those messages, that we can feel lit up by them, and that there can feel like this flow between what we're eating and what we're taking in and what we're putting out back in the world, whether that's poop or a project that you're obsessed about and can't wait to share with everyone.
You're listening to the Almost 30 podcast, a lifestyle podcast hosted by Krista Williams and Lindsay Simsick.
Tune in for a new episode every Tuesday to hear our honest conversations about topics like wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and self-development with guests who are really smart, really inspirational,
and really fucking funny. It's real, it's raw, and it's unfiltered.
Inspired by our transition from our 20s to our 30s, we realized it's so much more than that. Our mission is to provide you with the tools, guidance, and motivation to help you navigate any transitions in your life and propel your personal growth.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Almost 30 podcast.
Here we go. What?
I'm laughing at something on Instagram. I just saw an advertisement. It's a photo of us in the advertisement. It's not from Almost 30.
Oh.
And the quote is like not a quote from us. So it's just like,
oh yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah.
It's actually I think it's a philosopher or a writer. I don't know. But hey, makes us look smart as hell.
Hilarious. Because it's like two girls, quote from a genius. Literally I read that. I was like, huh.
It's just but funny. Hey, thanks.
Yeah, it just made me laugh.
Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast. Just found out one of my good friends is engaged.
Woo!
So pumped.
It's awesome.
Love when her fiance did it all by himself, did it on the low.
Yeah.
Just bought the ring, did the thing, did the surprise.
So nice.
So nice. So much pressure.
I know. I'd love to get inside the brains of people who do the proposing.
Oh, it's too much pressure.
It's a lot. You know, because we've been in situations where we get nervous before we go on and do something. So like, I wonder what that feels like.
Totally.
Well,
it's hard too. Cause like when I feel like maybe a lot of girls like know what they want. So they just say it. They're like, I want to be proposed to at a baseball game. Do you know what I mean? And like, I don't have no idea. So I feel like that is extra pressure because it's like trying to figure out something that I don't even know.
Totally.
I don't know.
I have zero clue.
Zero clue.
I wouldn't probably want to be around a lot of people.
I don't think so either. I don't know if I'm ever going to, when it happens, I probably won't tell people for a long time.
That's what I thought about you. I was like, oh, she's not going to tell me.
Like, honestly, I probably won't tell anyone. Because I just was thinking about it. I'm like, this is a problem for me that I have a hard time receiving. And I'm really was thinking about being engaged, that I'm going to have a really hard time receiving all of that.
Well, it'll be a good practice for you.
Yeah. So Japan didn't get engaged. If you guys were wondering, you're the first to know.
The whole group's waiting.
The whole group was waiting.
Breath.
I even, like Lindsay and my sister were like, okay, so like no news is news.
I was like, I'm a terrible friend for asking and also not asking.
I mean, it's like, what do you even, I don't even know.
Well, there's no extreme emotions because it's happening and like you guys are just like partners in life. So it's just this weird thing where it's like, oh, this is going to happen.
I was like, what if he does it without a ring? Because I was like, the way he was traveling, I'm like, you're being too casual about the bags and stuff. And I'm like, you would, if there was a ring somewhere, you'd be a little bit more thoughtful and careful about that kind of stuff.
I'd be terrified to travel with.
Honestly, that's what he said before. But I thought he was trying to throw me off his trail. He was like, I'm afraid to travel with the ring. I'm like, okay. Again, I didn't know what to say. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I was just like, okay. And I thought he was trying to fuck with me. But he wasn't. So that's an update, everyone. So Japan was awesome. if you guys want to go. I know, I don't know, the lights are.
Yeah, the lights are flickering. Someone's here.
The ghost is here. I wonder why he's here right now. But there was a typhoon, which was crazy. And then there was an earthquake, which was crazy. But Justin and I just had a good old time as the bigs. He was the biggest person in the whole country.
Literally.
By a
I was
long
going to
stretch.
ask.
The bigs.
What was that like?
The bigs had a very bigs breakfast. Very bigs time. We had 2 breakfasts every day. Like one time he was talking about something and I was like, which breakfast? Because we had 2 breakfasts. We'd travel around the town having a breakfast for him, a breakfast for me. We had extra tables pulled up to our tables. In Japan? They eat noodles every meal, I swear. So traditional breakfast is like noodles, broth, meat in the noodles, egg in the noodles. It's just all noodles, man. It's crazy. And then the sushi and sashimi that Justin had was really good. We would get like waffles in the Subway, and we had sushi on conveyors, which was so good.
That's a thing. Yeah.
We were like, every night we were like prayers for conveyors because we just want to eat sushi on conveyors. It was
So
the most big thing because it was casual. The sushi would be like there in a second. You could eat it in 2 seconds. It was so bomb.
Yeah.
Very yum.
And the weather was a little
The weather was
crazy.
bad. So it was typhoon season. So maybe that's why our tickets were so cheap, was because it was typhoon season. I was like, guys,
is this going in the guide?
Literally, I was like, guys, go to Japan this time. Tickets are cheap. And it was because it was typhoon season. So we, one of the days we had to like cancel a tour and stuff. And actually a lot of the country got wrecked pretty bad at some parts. Some of the exhibits that we were going to and stuff like got closed down because the typhoon was so bad. But I just forgot that in Japan, like weather's definitely a thing. They have earthquakes, they have typhoons.
Did you feel the earthquake?
I didn't feel that, but the typhoon was really bad.
Oh.
But we just haven't had, there's, and I was thinking about that when I was there. I was like, and where else was I? I was somewhere else recently. And the weather was really bad. And I was thinking about like with global warming, now traveling is kind of, maybe I think we were in Mexico City, the weather was really bad or something. But I was thinking now it's kind of, I've never been afraid to travel, but now with the way global warming is going, you have to really think about that when you go.
Totally.
There could be hurricanes, there could be typhoons, there could be tornadoes, the heat, everything's like going pretty crazy with the weather right now. I know in North Carolina and the Carolinas, they're bracing for a hurricane. Yeah. So now you just can't go anywhere without thinking about that.
Yeah. Weather, when it happens, it's extreme.
Yeah. It's crazy. And so I guess a hurricane and typhoon are the same thing, but a typhoon, because it's in the body of water that it's in Japan, is called a typhoon. Because
it's like a tropical type
It's
thing?
because it's the Pacific Ocean, I think, is hurricanes, and the Atlantic is typhoons or something. So it's based on the ocean.
Oh, I think
that it's in.
I think it's flip-flopped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Typhoons in Pacific.
Okay, yeah.
I think. Wow.
Or whatever so whatever it is. But so that was really bad, and we didn't feel the earthquake, but it was just interesting. But the people there are angels. I met up with one of our listeners.
So cool.
Allie. So she DM'd me. She works for Cirque du Soleil in Tokyo and was able to hook Justin and I up with Cirque du Soleil tickets, which was like the highlight of our trip.
It's the best.
It was so cool.
Cirque du Soleil.
Dude, they're so good. They had this like mime who did like a hand puppet show. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
It's crazy how like it I think of like a circus kind of like attracting, because like, it's the most bizarre acts and abilities and whatever. Yeah. And like, if you think about it really, I'm sure they could have like normal jobs, but like how cool that they have a space to just like express themselves in that way. And contort.
There was like a juggler guy that was like amazing at juggling. And then he did all of these things. I was thinking about that. I'm like, this is such a special thing. And like, Allie said that they like all love each other. It's like a family. They travel around the world together. It's just stuff like that. Like I would have never bought a ticket to, just because I'd be like, oh, I've been. But I went and I was like, oh, so cool to like see people do cool stuff. And like every time you're scared, you're like, oh, are they going to land that? Are they going to
It's dangerous.
It's so dangerous. But that's the whole thing, is like that anxious moment of wondering if they can do it.
Yeah.
And they've done it 100 times.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, I don't know, it was so cool.
Cool.
Yeah. It was amazing.
So fun.
It's amazing.
While you were away, I went to Palm Springs. I was like, oh, she's away. I should go away for a second.
I'm dying for a little Palm Springs moment right now.
I know. Well, it's about to be like the good season.
Yeah.
It's going to be busy, but it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Because it's so fucking hot in the summer. It was still really hot, but I wanted to get away for just like a 2-day thing by myself. I usually do it near my birthday. And it was great. And my friend Adelie has some Airbnb. So I stayed in one of those, which is so cute. And she owns the ice cream and shop. So if you're ever in Palm Springs, visit that. It's adorable. It's
so
connected to the Arrive Hotel, which is also amazing. But I was like, everything was fine. I just chilled and, you know, went out to dinner and whatever. And it was fun. I like jumped in. I was doing like cannonballs in the pool. I was like by myself, just having like a grand old time. Like not giving a fuck.
It's fun to like get under the water.
So fun.
And like be under the water.
Yeah. It was so fun. And just like be really weird.
Yeah.
And like I came back in the house and I think I took a shower, but like I don't like usually wear a lot of clothes. If I'm alone, I don't wear a lot of clothes at all, if any clothes. Usually right after a shower because I'm just like, let me dry. I'm just whatever. So I'm like walking around without any clothes on. And like everything's gated, so I'm not really worried anyone seeing me. And then all of a sudden, the pool boy comes in the backyard. And I was like, oh, like the door was completely like, you can see straight in. I think he kind of saw me like kind of start to run. I was like, oh my God.
I got my best angle when I'm running.
Oh my God. So I'm not going to do that anymore.
Was he?
No. I didn't invite him in. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Could have been fun.
Yeah. So, and then it turned into like a porno. Have you ever seen the SNL skit, Pete Davidson with Pool Boy?
Oh my God,
like,
no.
Oh my God, it's so funny. It's like with a mom, like a stay-at-home mom that's like kind of neglected at home. And then there's the pool boy and she's like, you know, obsessed with him. She's like, we can't tell my husband. It's just going to be you and I. Like, we'll hit the road and blah, blah. And he's like, okay. And then like a minute later, she's like, you know what? I can't do this. I need to tell my husband I can't do this. He's like, okay. Like he like doesn't give a fuck. Like she's like, you know, I think we need to cut it off. Like so emotional. And each time he's like, okay. It's so funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's really funny.
Yeah. So it was good. Anyway.
Love
it.
It
was very uneventful, which was nice.
Oh yeah.
Came back, got in the swing of things. You came back and we're ready to roll.
Ready to rock and roll. Back in the damn swing of things. What's up, everyone? Thanks for the feedback on the solo ep. Means a lot.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to listen to at times, but it was great.
So good.
Just to like figure out, listening only to figure out like what the fuck.
Well, it's also, one, you just recorded it and didn't listen to it again. Same with my episode. I don't want to listen to it again.
No, I'm good on all that.
But like, it is interesting not having each other. It like takes a moment.
I was nervous at first.
Get out of
funny.
Yeah, same.
At the beginning, I'm like, hey guys.
Yeah.
Because that's not comfortable for me to like talk like that and be like,
but
hey, and be like, hey everyone. You know, I don't.
Totally. Yeah,
it's normally just a conversation with both of us. So it's hard for me to like do that.
And I always want to like go back and like do it again. Do you know what I mean?
Dude, I know.
But it was incredible. So if any of y'all are thinking about making the jump, listen to that episode from maybe your 9 to 5 or whatever job you're in and you're not totally satisfied or fulfilled. Krista did it.
Yep. And we're going to do more of those. So get ready for those. It's going to be great. Okay. So this episode this week
is Robyn Youkilis.
Who's all, I love her.
Dude.
Love her. We were buds.
She is the sweetest little girl too.
Sweet little angel. She's beautiful and cool. You know what my favorite part about the whole interview was? This gave me permission and something I'll never forget. As I asked about something, I forget what I asked about related to health and wellness. And she goes, you know, that's not really my wheelhouse. My thing is digestive health and, you know, the gut. And I just was like so impressed with that.
Yeah.
And feeling confident saying she doesn't know. She probably does know, to be completely honest. She probably knew the answer, but really wants to stick to what she does know best and what she is really good at and the message that she's trying to convey. Yeah. And I loved it. I thought that was so powerful. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Well, there's
and
so
now
many
I trust her more with other answers.
Exactly. There's so many people in this space that are either regurgitating what they've heard and they're not quite sure, but they're saying it anyway. So it's kind of a part of their resume. And yeah, the more honest, the better. So yeah, we definitely talked a lot about digestive health, which we can't get enough of. And we know you guys can't get enough of. And she's really, she emphasized just that, like, we are all built differently. There's no one size fits all for diet, for lifestyle. And Robyn is actually intuitive as well. And
little known fact.
So I just love how she weaves that into her process or her practice as a nutritionist, and her book, Thin from Within, is just awesome.
It's by my bedside table.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we're just really excited to share this episode with you. Robyn is a light and so smart and so funny and fun. And we know you'll get a lot out of it. So join our secret Facebook group, and we can talk more about that. You can visit Robyn's website at robynyoukilis.com, ROBYNYOUKILIS.com. And what else? We're on tour still. We love being on tour. Let me get that out there.
Yeah.
But I feel like we say it all the time. So I just want to let you know.
I know you guys are like dying about the tour. So tonight we have is Dallas. So that'll be at the beautiful Susie Batista's house. That sold out. Austin Thursday, that sold out. And then we have San Diego, which is sold out. We have
You
LA.
guys have to drink every time we say sold out.
Dude, good one. And then we have LA on the 25th in October. And then we're taking a motherfucking break.
We're taking a break.
Taking a break before the world tour next year.
Yeah, it's just because we want to create more content and things for you guys. And we need kind of the space to do it. Yeah. So excited.
And then Podcast Pro. So if you guys want to start your own podcast, that's available on our website. We've been selling a lot of those. So make sure to go to almost30podcast.com and find those. And then go to our sponsors page to find out discount codes, promo codes, our affiliates. You guys can also get $1,000 off joining IIN. So the Institute for Integrative Nutrition is a health school that a lot of the people on our podcast have been through, whether they are health experts or they're starting a business in the health space. It really helps you understand your health holistically. So we stand behind them and we are affiliates of them. So check out IIN. You can get $1,000 off by with their program by mentioning Almost 30.
Cool. Awesome. All right, guys, we'll see you on the other side. Enjoy this episode.
See you on the flip. See ya.
This episode is brought to you by Altera Pure. Well, I am obsessed with these sheets, not only because they are so well made, truly as if like I made them myself and I was paying attention to every little detail, but they are committed to sustainability. They are committed to fair trade with their partners, and they are committed to the communities that build the product, which is really important to Krista and I. And this company has no secrets. So their whole process is transparent. You can call them up and be like, hey, how'd you make these? Where are they made? Who made them? And the product is not only certified, but verified. And you can go to their website, alterapure.com, and they'll show you all of the details. This design is deliberate, simple, chic, crisp. I love these sheets. I have everything in white. So I have the pillowcases, the sheets, the duvet cover. And let me tell you something. So the weather has been a little weird in LA. It's gone from being super hot to kind of chilly at night, from being hot at night to hot during the day, just never predictable. But these sheets, and I swear to you, this is true, these sheets not only are comfortable, but they feel warm when it's cold out during the nights where it's a little chilly, and they cool me on the warmer nights. Swear. Don't know how it happens, but it's true. These sheets are so comfortable.
barely want to get out of bed in the morning. I just love snuggling in them. And we know that you will too. And with a clear conscience, knowing that this brand is doing good in the world and really setting the standard for this industry. I hope and pray that other brands follow in their footsteps, other brands in the textile industry. So for our listeners, you can go to Alterra Pure, ALTERRA pure.com, and you can use our code ALMOST30, ALMOST30 for 15% off your first order. So that's alterrapure.com. Code is ALMOST30 for 15% off your first order. This episode is also brought to you by Apres. Apres is a ready-to-drink plant protein beverage. We are so obsessed with Apres. We cannot get over how good it tastes. Oftentimes we find protein beverages or mixes that, although they're good for us, don't taste amazing, but we just suck it up anyway. And Apres checks both boxes among others, and we are so proud to have them as a sponsor. You know, in the past, protein has been all about, building muscle and so many ingredients that you can't pronounce. It's really confusing. So Apres is reimagining protein with clean, plant-based ingredients, perfect for someone who wants to know exactly what they are putting into their body. It's super thoughtful in its ingredients, and it was designed by a health coach and personal trainer over the course of a year and a half. And it's the first product of its kind with organic plant proteins, metabolic fats from organic virgin coconut oil, and electrolytes from organic coconut water, all in one really smooth, super creamy, ready to drink bottle. It's delicious. So their protein blend contains 13 grams of organic plant protein, like I said, but it's from pea, chia, cacao, and hemp. So you ask, why 13 grams? The amount of protein that you need varies a lot. So depending on your weight, daily exercise goals, and overall what makes your body uniquely you and happy and healthy. So with that being said, doctors recommend that the average woman ingests 0.5 grams to 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So this means if you weigh, say, 140 pounds, your daily protein intake should be around 70 grams total. So with 13 grams of protein per Apres, you're getting about 15 to 20% of your protein intake from one 180 calorie beverage, which is incredible. I love this drink. So they have the mint cacao and also the salted caramel, but they're coming out with 2 new flavors just released. They're out. Cold brew coffee and vanilla. Both are delicious. I don't know what to tell you other than please try it. This is the perfect way to nourish your body. I know you guys are running around starting businesses, taking care of families, working so hard. And this is one way in which you can really take care of yourself and know that it is nourishing your body. So for our beautiful listeners, we love you guys so much. You can go to drinkapres.com. So that's drinkapres.com. And you can use our code ALMOST30 for 15% off your first order. We are so excited about this. We love Apres. If you've been to our events, you've probably tried it. So drinkapres.com, use our code ALMOST30 for 15% off. Oh, I love that hair.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm just doing a little thing.
I'm like inspired to do a half up recently.
The half up is everything.
Half up is so in.
It's the thing. It's just.
But mine is not.
I've always been doing it though. I was very
you.
I use a lot of stuff in my roots.
Dry shampoo.
Yeah, some dry shampoo, and then blow it out. Like whenever people are like, "How do you keep your hair after you're exercising?" You blow dry it from the root out afterwards every single time, and it like all volume.
I see the women after Soul Cycle do that all the time. I'm like, what are they doing?
That's what they're doing. That's the secret.
Because I think that's how you're supposed to use dry shampoos, with the blow dryer.
Even without the dry shampoo. I only do dry shampoo like every third time.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really use it as much as I used to. I used to use it all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't work as much.
Well, living intentions, living proof. That's the best one. I know everyone swears their dry shampoo
I love
is
living
amazing,
proof.
but living proof is that's the one.
That's a good one.
That's the one, period. Stop debating.
Y'all, we have Robyn Youkilis in the house.
Woo, woo.
Hello.
So excited.
So I want to talk about feeling off this week. Are you feeling you're feeling a little all over? I am too.
I'm gonna start crying. No, just kidding.
I
I could keep it
literally-
together for a podcast
I
recording.
have that too.
There's just like I feel it around me. Things are happening around me that are a little like in my face. And then I feel it vibrationally happening. So I talk about this feeling that I have in my heart when I'm meditating or when I go to really like sacred places. I consider like Asheville, Tennessee has courts in the mountains. Whenever I'm there, I feel this like hum in my heart. And this week I've felt like a vibration from that same place, but it's off. Like I can feel it in a different key or different register, for example. And it's like, okay, you're there. That's weird. You know, how much do we want to talk about that? How much do we want to explore? Is there, I don't think that for me, it's always my go-to to make everything a to-do or a lesson or tie it up with a bow. And I'm like, I don't think this is about that. I think you're just supposed to feel and observe and see what's going on. And I don't know, get back in bed when you can.
I feel that. Yeah, I've been thinking about that too. I'm like, maybe not trying to figure out what it is so much, but just like letting it be.
I'm letting it move through.
Yeah. Because
Not
I've been
everything's
feeling like
supposed to
I
be a
need to
thing.
cry. Like I have a feeling like it's like I've started to cry a few times. I started to cry yesterday. I started to cry today. And I need to just cry. And I started to cry a moment ago, but it's like it hasn't moved through. But there's nothing really going on that's making me feel that way. But I keep wondering, I'm like, okay, is it the move? I'm like, do I have an energy that's attached to me at my new apartment? Like, I just like think of all this like crazy shit instead of letting it be.
What I do with that is music.
Yeah,
I'll play one of those
to find a good cry song.
real
What's a cry song?
Oh my God. Well, it's
What
a
are your
cry song
favorites?
for me right now.
Tell me.
What? Sound real weird. It's the Millennium remix of the Marshmello song Silence.
Yes.
It gets real heavy.
It's
guys
I'm
really-
like a little bit of an EDM girl. Well, a lot of bit of
I
an EDM
love
girl.
that.
So,
Can you sing it?
no, I can't
you
sing
guys
that.
both sing
No
it?
one can sing
Actually,
that
you know what?
song.
On that note, we're going to close out the episode with that song.
Yes,
I'm going
you
to
know
write
what?
that
I
down.
had a vision for that. I was in the car listening to. I'm like, I'm going to ask them to close out.
Oh,
the
yes.
episode with that song, and there it is.
No way.
It's just it's like emotional, but also just like big, and it hits you in that like hurts so good. I used to call it I would go for a run and I'd hear songs like that. Usually it was like Let It Go, stuff like that. And I called it crunning. Like I'd go for a cry run.
my
It was like
God.
a new sport.
I've done that.
Crunning. And then
Feels
there's
so
cry
good.
yoga. You can cry in yoga. But I'm more of a crier and a runner because it's the music moving through.
Oh, I love that.
Mhm. Gotta
Landslide.
feel-
Landslide's
Yeah,
my number one
Oh.
cry song.
Didn't expect that.
I want to
from
hear
you.
everyone's cry songs.
Oh,
Post
that's my
somewhere
number one
on
cry
Facebook
song.
or Instagram.
We actually
I
have
want
a
to
thread
hear.
in our secret
hear.
Facebook group about cry songs.
Really?
Yeah, I asked him. I was like, "What?" Because me and my friends were talking about that one day. We're like, "What's your cry songs?" And there's like a thread
Oh, cool.
of cry songs. I could see.
Oh.
But everyone's is so different. And it's different
Uh-huh.
at different times of our lives, I
Yes.
feel like, or what's happening for you, what's going on, and what you're connecting to in that moment.
Dashboard.
So I was never an emo girl.
You
I was
weren't?
always like a rock and roll, like
EDMer.
EDMer.
Partier.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Sunset Boulevard,
Oh.
Silver Lake. Yep.
Who was
Early
Robyn
20s.
in her early 20s?
Yeah.
Paint
Oh
the
my
picture.
God. Oh, no one's asked me this before.
Because
Aw.
she walked up to where we are in the studio in my apartment or whatever. And my apartment kind of looks like Dutch Wonderland, like some sort of weird, like Playboy Mansion vibes, but not Playboy Mansion. It's like has the Dutch like windows and shit. And she's like, I feel like I've partied here like 15 years ago, and I was like strewn out on the driveway over here.
I love that.
So who was that?
So, okay, we're going there. Deep breath, Robyn.
As we always do.
Deep breath, Robyn. So in my early 20s in New York City, I was a big partier. I was a big club girl and I was serious about it. So that meant I went out on Sundays and Mondays
Oh, that's
and
me
Tuesdays
when you know.
and Wednesdays.
Tuesday, baby, Tuesday.
And sometimes a weekend night, but I would try and take those off. And I would just go out at night and go to see these DJs and go to these small intimate clubs. And I had a buddy at the time, Billy, still a friend of mine. And we were like best friends going out. And sometimes we'd make out and sometimes more than that. But we we had our thing. And I was working a full-time job at the time. And I was also acting on the side at the time. And I remember I made these rules. I was like, okay, if you're sober and you stay sober for the night, nothing. You can stay out till 4. But if I was drinking, then I had to be in bed by 2. And that was my rule. So I could crawl out of bed the next day at 7 a.m. and get to work and actually be like a semi-functioning human being. And when then that started to like wear out a little around 26, people started to get, like boyfriends and not go out as much. I was like, well, I'm going to go to the West Coast because I can keep it going there. I sensed where the party was and I moved across the country and I moved to Los Angeles and I lived with my cousin at the time. And I remember on Sunday nights, there was this like jazz party with some of the celebrity kids in Hollywood. And I would drive over the hill from Studio City on Sunday nights, listening to like, I don't know.
Tiesto.
Literally like getting myself all like jazzed up. And I had no one to go with. I was thinking about this the other day. I was having this really like full of tears, gratitude moment for my life right now because I would go out and I had friends, but they were working and not partying as much. And I just wanted to just be a part of something. I wanted to feel like I belonged somewhere, like I could connect to someone. And so I'd go and had friends there, but I didn't even have like a sidekick. And I'd go on Sunday nights and party. And this continued for years. And I moved into an apartment building that I had an apartment above these 5 Dutch guys that were like 10 years younger than me. And every night of the week, drinking beers and playing guitar. And I hung out with them and I had the best time until eventually one day I was fed up with it. And I was like, this isn't what you really want. And I remember having this moment where I was like, you're not going to say yes to anything that isn't exactly what you want. And so all the booty call text messages at 2 a.m., even though they made me feel so good about myself and these guys were great and friends and I'm still friends with them till this day, I just said no. And I was single and definitely barely went out and stopped saying yes to work opportunities that I didn't want either. And at the time I was working in nonprofits and doing kind of like documentary film festival gigs and going very much like gig to gig, like project-based work. And that's when I found the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, where I got my certification. And when I found my now husband, because he was he was exactly what I wanted. And so I said yes to that. And I said yes to this program. And that was really, I was 28 at the time. And that's when everything shifted and changed. And a year and a half later, I moved back to New York City. And that was, I'm not so great at the math. I think that was like 11 years ago. I have my husband to keep tabs. He's the numbers guy. He keeps tabs on this stuff. Hi, Scott. Thanks, honey. About 11 years ago. And then about a year and a half after living in New York, I was like, I miss LA. He's like, oh my God, you're the one that convinced us to move back here. It's like, I miss it. So we figured out a way to kind of do this bi-coastal thing. And so we've been doing that now for 9 years or something like that, where we're in LA for a few months out of the year scattered. And we're in New York, in Brooklyn. That's our home base for the rest of the time.
You do Airbnb?
So we do a swap. A lot of people ask me about this. So I'm really the queen of like anything you want in your life is possible.
It's true.
Like it is possible.
Yes,
I was like, I'm putting it out in the universe. I'm doing a ton of work around it. Not using the word manifesting, but like this is all possible. And so we sent an email to some friends and a couple about doing a swap. And some friends wrote back. And eventually we've had a thread of people we've done it with. And we've done it with the same guy, Jason, who's a writer for years now.
Wow.
And we both moved into really nice places at the same time. And he's in our place right now. And we're in his place. And it's just worked out.
I love that.
That is the coolest.
Yeah.
That's my story. That's my
dream.
like LA party girl. Here where I am. Sorry. Nothing to do with food or nutrition or any of that stuff, but that's me in a nutshell.
So you went through the school of, how do you say it? Integrative INN?
So the Institute for Integrative Nutrition,
IIN.
Yeah, IIN.
I always get that wrong. My
It's okay.
sister always like slaps me.
You land close
She
enough.
went through it. So you went through that, and were there, health issues that you were experiencing that you wanted to heal? Like, where was that healing part of your work? Like, how did that come in?
So I've always been someone who's wanted to help people. Like I went to school, I was going to be an international criminal court lawyer. I graduated, I worked in the nonprofit land. Like that has always been a deep desire within me, but it never had anything to do with food or nutrition. When I started dating my husband, I became really obsessed with the farmers markets. He was living in Santa Monica at the time and started to realize like there's a world beyond Trader Joe's and there's something here happening with food and how it makes me feel and making it for us. And we would have these dinners and go for walks. And it became something that was really real in my life versus me trying to control food. And I didn't realize it until I went through a nutrition program, how much of an eating disordered past I had. I wouldn't classify myself as having a textbook eating disorder, but I definitely had a disordered view of eating and how to feed my body. And essentially it was always eat this, you're bad. Eat this, you're good. How thin can I be? How skinny can I be? Never being thin enough, never being happy with my body, speaking horribly to myself and gaining quite a bit of physical weight and emotional weight, which is something I talk a lot about in my book, Thin From Within, that I was carrying around. Just really kind of how I said about my early days in Los Angeles. I was really lonely and really unhappy and searching for a feeling of belongingness in my kitchen cabinets at night because I wasn't getting it in my life. And so thankfully this program really shed light on that and made me realize like, oh, there's something here. You've been making a career, not out of your career, but out of dieting. It's just not something you ever had anybody to really talk to. My mom didn't know how to talk to me about it. It was like, well, I want you to be happy in your body. Maybe you don't want to eat that dessert. You know what I mean? Like a lot of our parents don't really have the tools for this. And so I went to nutrition school. I learned that, I really needed to relearn how to feed myself. And then from that, I also learned how to become a health coach and open my own coaching practice. And that was nearly a decade ago now. And it's morphed over so many years as to what it really, really is. And my message is all about healing your gut, connecting to your gut, nourishing your gut, feeding your gut so you can live from your gut. So that intuitive voice that's meant to guide all of us, that we all have, that we can hear those messages, that we can feel connected from them, to them, we can feel lit up by them, and that there can feel like this flow between what we're eating and what we're taking in and what we're putting out back in the world, whether that's poop or a project that you're, obsessed about and can't wait to share with everyone.
How did that become like your focus?
The gut and intuitive piece. I realized that was over the years, like that's what everything came back to with my clients. Because when I work with my clients, I work very practically, but also on the emotional level. So practically speaking, if I could get them pooping more, they were going to feel better real fast. So it was like, what's going on with their gut? How is their digestive system? How are they feeding that? What can I do to focus on that first? And then that would make such a massive impact, even just in a few days, let alone a month or 2 or 3 months. And so starting there, they'd start feeling better in their bodies. And then they'd start thinking about their lives more and realizing, am I happy? Is there something I want to be doing that I'm not doing? And having this safe place and space with me to talk about that and connect to that and do a little digging.
What would you say if someone just kind of base level, like isn't pooping, like what are maybe things that you came across that were really common causes, whether it's physical, emotional, diet?
So one, definitely not old advice, but water. I like to give the metaphor that if poop is the boat, how can it float without a river? And so water definitely during the day, but ideally really focusing on first thing in the morning. So completely flooding, drowning essentially your system if you can, even 32 ounces of water, which is a large mason jar. Wow. First thing in the morning. Bring it in the shower with you. I find my husband's in the shower. I'm like, can you make that to the sink? He's like, I'm making it to the shower at least. Drinking that before, as you're getting ready for your day, before the coffee, before the tea, before the potions and the lotions, whatever it is that you're doing, having that so that you can flush your system. And yes, lemon water is great. Hot water with lemon is great, but we're not necessarily getting enough hydration before those healthy things that we're incorporating. So really tons and tons of water. Second to that is, I talk a lot, and this is my first book in Go With Your Gut, about relaxing on the toilet and having some space for that. Whether you're someone with a little, like me, I have a 2.5-year-old daughter who's banging down the door, or the bathroom's always been a place of anxiety for you, or stress or pressure. It's just taking a minute to be like, hi, I'm here. This is where I am now. We're going to the bathroom. I'm letting my body release. Can I relax? Can I let this be easy? Can I let this just be a part of my day? Feel the flow, whatever it is you want to do in there, and just let that go. Because so many of us constrict and tighten, especially women, right? We hold on, we grip.
Yeah.
And we're doing that with our poopers too. So letting that release a little bit, letting that go. And then after that, I always say fermented foods. So raw, rich, probiotic-rich, fermented raw sauerkraut, kefir. If you can digest yogurt, there's probiotics in that. You can get a non-dairy version too. So just really making sure that you have a variety of those good gut bacteria in there to help your gut along. That's not just a trend. That is real.
What are some of your faves?
I love, my favorite's the fermented vegetables, but the chunky ones. So if you ever see like the big cut up carrots or daikon radish, and I like to make them like that myself too. And I have a recipe in Thin From Within I'll give you guys that's really just making your own whole brine vegetables. And it's easier than sauerkraut because you literally just make salt water and then throw the veggies in and let it hang out on the counter like a cute little pet and say hi to it from time to time, lift the lid. And then 2 weeks later, you've got probiotics.
Oh, wow.
Boom.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So just salt water?
It's a saltwater solution.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Grows the bacteria. Grows the healthy good gut bacteria.
Yeah. I like the, do you like the farmhouse sour, like do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. I recommend one, the pickle one. There's
the pickle and the dill.
There's a dill pickle one from Farmhouse Culture. So if you're someone that thinks that they don't like sauerkraut or anything like that, try the dill pickle one because it tastes like pickles and you could chop it up and put it in like tuna salad or with your turkey, whatever your lunch. Like it's a great like starter ferment. And then there's also one that's gingered carrots. That's also a good one for people to try.
Cool.
And even just a little bit, just like a forkful.
Okay.
Put the lid back on, one forkful. You're going to get your probiotics in. And it's just going to move everything along because how your digestive system is functioning, how your bowels are functioning, how much you're pooping is a direct sign of how well your system is functioning. And if your system is functioning well, that means you have more energy, you're sleeping better, you're more lit up, you're more yourself. This isn't just about, oh, well, yeah, I have a nice poop. It means more than that. Because if your digestive system has to work overtime or work more than it's supposed to, it's zapping those resources from you in other ways.
What if you're pooping too much?
So if you're pooping too much, look at how much fiber you're having, how much raw vegetable, how much cooked vegetable. It just might be too much for you. More of something, especially in the health world, is not necessarily a better thing. So for flax meal, for example, flax seeds became a huge trend. Like just a teeny little bit is going to be enough, like a quarter teaspoon, for example. Yeah, just starting small with a lot of these things and working your way from there. And really, we talk a lot about listening to your body or seeing what feels good for you, but you're going to have to make that a priority. You're not just going to like get the download. You're going to have to say, okay, well, I'm trying this new food. I'm going to commit to also journaling for 5 days around it and just being like, okay, feel good. You may not need to write a lot, but just some kind of information so that you're like taking care of you.
What should our poop look like?
Ooh, a nice, complete, even log, for lack of a better.
Like a banana.
Lots of log.
A nice little log.
Color?
Nice little log. What you think it should look like. Nice medium brown.
Medium brown?
Yeah.
Okay. And when it's pellets, what does it mean?
It's the pellets and the strippy ones and the like, something that just doesn't feel complete. Like complete and nice and easy to pass. That's what you're going for.
And how many times a day should we be going or how many?
Everyone really is different. Okay. I would say a minimum of once a day. And some people go 3 times a day. So, yeah.
Last poop question.
No, everyone wants to know about poop. We just don't like to talk about. We just don't like to admit that we like to talk about it.
So it's funny to like kind of track what my poop looks like because I'll notice if I want to poop, like if I'm like say gonna be in a bathing suit in a few hours, like literally, or going on a date or whatever it is, have a shoot, something weird. Like I'll have like the almost constricted, like would you say strands almost? Like it feels like I'm tense and nothing's really, but normally I'm pooping like a lot, like 3 times a day for sure. So like what is the connection between kind of like the mental and your digestive system?
So it's physically what's happening is you are constricting. So you're tightening, you're making it harder for your bowel to release completely and to let that go. So you're going to have kind of like interrupted little somethings happening down there. And also your digestive system isn't able to break down the food as well as it typically would. So all the bacteria in there isn't able to like, tick away at it and disperse the nutrients that you're getting. So you're kind of like, shaking up your digestive tract and everything that it's supposed to do. And then there's also the emotional component, right? Of like, can I relax around this? Can I release around this? Can I just let this go? So much of us, again, it's that emotional piece of that control and it connects to our poops too.
Interesting.
Digestive enzymes. What are your thoughts on those?
I think they're great. If you're someone who is listening to this and you're like, well, I'm not pooping that often, or I might have some funky food stuff going on, a probiotic pill and a digestive enzyme are a great place to start. So make sure you take it before your meal. Also, later, I'm trying to find like the better way to say this. I'm like, as we get older, we start to lose some of our digestive enzymes. So our systems in that department are not as strong or burning as strong as they used to be. And that's an open-ended age, range that I'm giving. Trying to find it. If you guys let me know you're a better way of saying that, or, more conscious way of saying that, but it's just the truth. So adding some digestive enzymes, but I always say with digestive enzymes, like try a course of it. So try them religiously for 30 days or until the pill bottle runs out and see if you notice a difference. You may not have. Mm-hmm. So definitely experiment with that and see how you feel.
So are there enzymes?
But you'd be less bloated after. You would just feel better after your meal.
Are there enzymes within your stomach normally that
yes
live to break down proteins, fats?
Exactly.
Okay.
You got it.
And can you ever have too many probiotics?
Yeah.
Your body it kind of just poops and pees them out. You can't really.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if it.
I've had a lot of bloating from too many probiotics before.
Well, how are you getting them?
Isn't
it
that
might have been
weird?
more of the food.
It was from pills.
Okay,
so I took a pack of On It has a probiotic.
Yeah. So I should specify, I'm speaking about probiotics in probiotic rich
natural,
foods. Yeah. So if you are taking a probiotic supplement, for example, that's specifically just for that, yes, you can take too much.
I think it was like for someone that was literally coming off of like heroin recovery. They needed to like completely redo their gut. Because honestly, my gut was literally like fucking out. It was here.
Yeah.
It was insane.
And sometimes it gets worse before it gets better.
I know.
Too.
Colonics.
You know what's so wild about this? I've never had one. I've never had one.
It's no longer colonics. It's like hydrocolon therapy where it's really slow. And
I've read about it. I've researched it. I have colleagues that love it. I have colleagues that hate it. I have friends that love it and friends that you couldn't pay them. I just personally, for me, I felt like my digestive system has always hummed along. I'm very conscientious of taking care of my body and water and resting. Mind you, that's not all the time. I'm, eating French fries and ice cream when I want to also. But I've never felt intuitively like that's a place I need to go. I have had instinctive hits with clients where I have recommended it before.
Wow.
Where I've just been like, I'm getting, and I see and kind of hear things where I'll get downloads and messages and I kind of have visions over my left eye. So sometimes I'll get information about a client that they should do that, but I haven't for myself. So I'm not the best person to talk to about that.
Talk to us more about those visions. What does that mean?
My visions. I see things.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah, I've always seen things. It kind of looks like a screen that pulls down over my left eye. And then I'll see a flash of something or a picture. Sometimes it's a conversation or a moment or a memory connecting to myself or someone I'm talking with or someone that I'm coaching. Obviously, it really turns on when I'm coaching. And then I'll see something and then I'll get a little hit in my gut. So it just kind of feels like almost like a warm spark coming from inside my intuition, which I like to always mention to people, like your intuition, think of where we say that gut hit we get is also where your physical gut is. So it's all connected and the same, and kind of cool to think about our intuition like that. So I get a little spark from there. And then I'll hear, is this something that I would need to share? Is there more here? Is it okay to share this with the person? Sometimes there's another little bit that comes through. And I've had this my whole life. I remember having this like really as a small kid, like as early as I can remember. It really just came really alive and had so many words to it as I can share now through my coaching practice. And then in writing my books and now in my life. And it's interesting because I haven't really explored it or trained it or anything like that. There was a medium recently on the Goop podcast. I don't know if you ladies heard that one.
What's his name?
It was a woman. It was a woman. Laura Lynn something. And one of my main team members, Emily, messaged me. She helps run my programs and directive creative vision and is one of my coaches. And she messaged me. She's like, you need to listen to this podcast. This woman describes her visions similar to yours. And I never heard anybody else say about a screen over their left eye. And I was listening to a podcast running around the Silver Lake Reservoir and my entire body was covered in chills the entire time. I could literally, I stopped like 5 times to like catch my breath. And what was interesting about hers is she said that's where she gets messages, but then she also has a mediumship on top of that where she does connect to people who have passed. And I don't have that. So it was really cool to hear her speak about them separately. Like that's her intuitive hits and other clear messages she gets, but also that she has the mediumship on top of it. And also what she said was about training it and researching it and going into it. And I've never done any of that. I've never even spoken with another intuitive about what that is. It's only really coming out since I've been sharing a little bit on podcasts about it here and there.
Wow.
But it's always been in my coaching practice. But again, I've never really like drawn on it. I've never meditated into it or kind of worked into it. It's just there. So
Wow.
I don't know. Talk to me in 5 years. We'll see
You should.
what happens
That's amazing.
with it. If I, get a little even more curious than I have been.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our sponsor, Fabletics. Fabletics is your one-stop shop for really cute, affordable, and actually it fits so well, athletic wear for yoga, running, gym gear, anything you want, shoes, accessories. I love it.
Yeah,
so
I'm wearing a
much.
Fabletics dress right now.
It's so cute.
It's fucking cute as shit. I'm wearing this dress right now. It's kind of like a mesh white, and it's so soft, so comfortable. It's not really workout, but I've been wearing it all day, and it's so comfortable.
Yeah, they have like what you're wearing is athleisure.
Athleisure,
You can just wear it whenever. And I worked out this morning and it's really cute, the Faye two-piece outfit. So it's this beautiful kind of like dusted lilac color and this really cute sports bra with this mesh detail. And it's kind of like this, it's kind of sexy, but without it being like, oh God.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
It's like made with the woman in mind. It fits so well. And I'm kind of a bitch about my fit. And this brand really takes the time to fit all bodies. So
and it's high quality too. So I
Yeah.
like that it's affordable. You can get, tons of different styles. They release new styles every month. So not only does it fit well, like Lindsay was talking about, but it's also really affordable. So that's what I really like about everything that I get from there is that it's very, very affordable. So it's like a one-stop shop for affordable gym wear that you want to have also be on trend.
So for our listeners, you can get 2 leggings for $24 when you sign up for the VIP membership. And what's great is that you can cancel or skip a month at any time. There's no commitment to purchase monthly. So fabletics.com/almost30, sign up for the VIP membership and you'll get 2 leggings for $24, which is a $99 value. Let us know what you get. If you're wondering what we got in our order, please join the secret Facebook group. We'll talk all about it. This episode is also brought to you by Bombas.
Bombas, baby.
They're the most comfortable socks in the history of feet.
I didn't know that Bombas were Bombas until we started working with them, but I always knew that there was a sock that I loved and that I always felt like better in. And then I was like, and then I put it all together and I was like, whoa, Bombas are like my soulmate socks.
Oh,
they are. Honestly, I feel so good in them. I feel grounded. Like I feel like I have feet when I wear them.
yeah. So they've like totally re-engineered socks. They've spent about 2 years researching this, and what they've come up with is a honeycomb arch support system. So it provides extra support where you need it most, which is in the arch of the feet. If you've ever worked out your feet and taken a little ball and done a little tension work there, you would be surprised to know how much tension is in your feet and how it's connected to other parts of your body. So these socks have a cushioned footbed, reinforced for comfort without the added bulkiness. And the technology, this stay up technology, it has, if you're wondering, there are 133 tension levels were tested here, and the perfect tension that provides the most comfort and stays in one place so your socks aren't moving around all the time has been found by Bombas.
Yeah, I love that. I also can wear them in this. I didn't know this was possible until then, but you could have socks that feel warm in the winter and then cool in the summer. Yeah. So that's one of my favorite things about them. But you guys, I know you're wearing socks almost every day if you're not wearing sandals, especially when you work out to work. I pretty much only wear flats now or something that requires socks. So these are our preferred sock brand. They're amazing, especially for Lindsay at SoulCycle. They stay in her clips, everything like that. So we're excited that they are a sponsor, and we're excited you guys can hug your little feet.
And what's so great about Bombas, last thing, every pair sold, they donate a pair.
Come on.
So the socks are the number one most requested item in homeless shelters.
That gives me pause.
But you can't donate socks. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Isn't that crazy? You can't donate socks. So that's why used
Makes
socks.
sense. Yeah.
So Bombas donates one brand new pair of socks for every pair they sell.
Wow.
So they've sold and donated over 7 million pairs of socks. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, you can go to bombas.com and use our code almost30 ALMOST30 for 20% off your first order. So that's BOMBAS.com and you'll get 20% off your first order with the code almost30. This episode is also brought to you by Honeybook.
Oh man, you guys, when Lindsay and I made Almost 30 the real deal business, I actually put out some feelers to my Instagram people and asked what entrepreneurs and creatives use to organize their business and to stay on top of everything, all the invoicing, basically how they manage their clients and customers. There was a resounding answer from all of those people. They love Honeybook. So we've been using Honeybook with Almost 30 to help us manage our invoicing, help us stay on top of things with clients, and really just have a one-stop shop for seeing what's going on with the business for everyone to look at and keep track of.
Yeah, it just streamlines everything. And it also just makes you look really professional.
Yep.
You know, kind of helps you to walk that walk before you feel like you're even ready. So if you're a photographer, designer, event professional, and any other solopreneurs, you can save hundreds of hours, if not thousands, which I feel like we have. So for a limited time, Almost 30 listeners can get 50% off the first year of Honeybook with promo code almost30. Honeybook membership includes unlimited access to all features at one low monthly price. So you can go to honeybook.com and use our code almost30 to get started. So that's honeybook.com, promo code almost30 to get 50% off the first year of Honeybook.
Can you talk about how your diet and eating has changed since, gaining all this knowledge?
Oh my God. The best thing I say about the books and the work of my clients is really just continuously fine tuning what works for me. Because it's me feeling the way that I've felt in my body the last couple of years it's incredible. I mostly with the book Thin from Within, where I sort of developed really the names for what I was doing. So I start my day with my huge amount of water, and then I do kind of a matcha latte with adaptogens and some fat, and that helps me feel good. And I can just be present with my daughter, not trying to eat breakfast while I'm sort of taking care of her and getting her out the door and everything that needs to happen. And then I get to my office and then I have my power parfait. So that's my amped up yogurt bowl. It's yogurt with oats and chia seeds and fruit, etc. And it tastes like whipped heaven and protein powder. So I have that.
Do you have yogurt, dairy yogurt?
I have goat's dairy. Yeah. That happens to work really well for me. So I always say with people, experiment, try goats, try sheep's. There's a bunch of non-dairy options now that are great. Thankfully, some people, cows works great. So, get grass-fed, grass-finished quality source. And then lunch, I have my Rule of 5 plate template, which I can talk about a little bit more too. And it's just, it's like my foundation. I feel like there's so much going on in my life and there's so much going on in everybody's lives. But to be in a place now where I feel like my food is finally figured out a bit and I know what really works for me is amazing. And to be able to teach that and share that and have so many people writing to me and messaging me like, I've never felt better. My belly feels calmer. Not that my belly feels flatter. It's that my belly, they feel calmer in their bodies because we do have such big plans for ourselves and so much we want to do in this world. So if we can take out a little bit of the guesswork around the food, and I always say, try what I recommend. And if that doesn't work for you, try something else. I'm not here to say like, this is the way. I'm here to say, this is what's worked really well for me and so many of my clients and community and readers.
What's the Rule of 5?
So Rule of 5 plate is the 5 foods you want to have on your plate at any given meal. I don't really do it for breakfast because I feel like I'm covered for lunch and dinner. And Power Parfait works really well for me. I used to do a Rule of 5 plate for breakfast, but when my daughter came, I was like certainly not making eggs and greens in the morning. Like that became hilarious. So it's nothing wild, but just gives you a really nice template. So greens, raw or cooked. A lot of people cannot digest raw greens. So experimenting with cooked if that feels like you, if you feel bloated after you eat salads. So raw greens or cooked greens rather. Protein, up to you. Healthy fat, again, up to you. Also, I put nuts in the healthy fat category, not in the protein category, just FYI. From a digestive point of view, nuts are really hard to digest. If you think about how they come in nature, I always say nuts aren't popcorn and we tend to eat them by the handful. So thinking of them more like an olive oil, like you'd have 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil, for example. So kind of thinking about nuts in that category. So I've got greens, protein, healthy fat, and then my couple of wild cards that are more the healthy belly way. Cooked vegetable. So cooked vegetable for 2 reasons. 1, it's easier for your body to digest anytime you have a cooked veggie in there. And 2, it's really grounding. And also it's very satisfying to have a cooked vegetable. So if you're someone like me who comes from the diet mentality, we tend to think, oh, I just had a salad for lunch, or I'm eating lighter. So I am going to be lighter. And the more that I can give myself more solid grounding, some of those heavier foods like roasted squash, for example, like I feel much more satisfied from my meal. And then the 5th one is going to be a ferment. So the sauerkraut or some of the sauerkraut juice in my dressing. Again, that's not for everybody. If you have SIBO or more serious digestive issues, this may not be for you, or candida. But, if you generally don't suffer from any of those, give it a try. And then those are my 5. And then I kind of have that as like a bowl for lunch. And then for dinner, I have different elements in different ways. So I might have a bean pasta with kale and tomato sauce and some roasted carrots mixed together. And then I'll have like my fermented vegetables on the side. So I sort of like mix it up a little bit more for dinner. That makes sense.
Sounds delicious.
I know, that sounds
great.
great.
Some of my snacks,
Any
tea.
thoughts on, and not to like bring up another, the plant paradox, I think has freaked a lot of people out. So when you said like tomato sauce or, eggplant or whatever they're talking about, legumes, I honestly haven't read it. I've just like heard the like hysteria after people read it. So do you have any thoughts on that?
It's so funny because I went to this conference, and I don't always share a lot from conferences. Like people are like, I'm not a blogger at heart. I'm more like a coach, like that's speaker and a coach. And so at this conference, I was like, I'm going to be a blogger. I'm going to share a lot more from this and give a lot more downloads. And I shared a ton from his speech. Never have I gotten so many messages from people being like, this guy's a total quack. This was studies in mice and not in. And I was like, whoa, I thought his stuff sounded real legit. So I did some research on my own. There's some information backing it there. There's some information that's against it there. So this is something where I say, depends how you feel. I come from a place of digestive health and intuitive eating. If you're a woman that's been on a diet forever, thinking something's going to fix you, or if you've lost weight in the past and you're like, I never felt like I was there, and I feel a little bloated, maybe I'm not pooping as much, or I'm feeling just not great in my belly, that's my world. If you're suffering from something else, experiment with something else. So for his diet, anti-inflammatory, heart health, if those you're reading through his work and seeing like, oh, that sounds like me. Oh, that sounds like me. Experiment with it.
Right.
What exactly is it?
It's basically like no foods, no nightshades, but no foods with leptins. So leptins are essentially there to preserve the future of the plant.
Yeah.
So there are these nutrients that essentially our bodies cannot break down to keep the plant going. So it keeps animals away, for example. So why would we eat those things? But I don't know. There's research that says, brown rice is the most amazing thing ever. And other research that says brown rice is going to be the worst thing for you. Yeah. So this is when we all have to take a moment, not just buy into the latest trends and be like, what do I need?
Okay.
What do I need? And that's where the intuitive piece, and I say to everybody, and why I will always speak and teach about intuition, is because that's it for everything. What is your gut telling you?
Yeah.
Not your brain running away from you.
Have the visions too.
Yeah.
I love visions.
Okay. I want to pull some questions from our group, from our sweet angels.
Hi, angels.
Hi, angels of the Secret Almost 30 podcast Facebook group. Thanks for participating. Okay, let's see.
Before you get into that, can I just say how much I love the name of this podcast? I know a lot of people say it because it speaks to my inner raver child.
Oh my God.
Because, as I'm in the late 30s here and I'm like,
you look like you're fucking 20.
I know.
My husband said to me, he goes, are you aging backwards? I was like,
yes. What a peanut head.
I was like, yes, I am. I'm just going to own that. And I've come a long way with that, right? We always say, no,
brother.
Not true. But I'm like, when someone gives you a compliment, you're like, thank you.
I love that.
Thank you.
Connection between gut and skin health from Katie Ross.
It's all from the gut. So yeah. So if following a protocol like mine and Thin from Within or Go With Your Gut, you are going to see your skin clear up.
What is the connection, I guess?
So it's all hormones, essentially.
Oh.
So
How are hormones
and
connected to your gut?
So it's essentially your bacteria in your system rules and works with your hormonal system. So they're essentially one and the same. So many of the protocols that I teach around gut health are very, very similar for hormone health and balancing. They have a different theory and philosophy, a little bit more around dairy and animal products than I do, but typically it's very, very similar.
Wow. Okay. How to break sugar addiction.
So
Caitlin.
hi Caitlin, I hear you, girl. First of all, everyone's take a breath for the sugar. The sugar, that's all. It's a lot.
I've been plotting this whole interview about my next sugar binge.
Yeah, it's got its claws in you. So a few things. So first off, looking at your diet, either enough protein or healthy fat. Are you vegan? You might want to explore not being vegan. If you're not vegan, you might want to explore being vegan. This is one of those, like, really look at the protein and the fat in your day. And then also, what's the sugar feeding? What are you turning to it for? Did you have something in your life, in your life that day, rather, that you freaking loved? Like something that made you as happy as that sugar binge would make you. And really getting honest about that.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. I've actually thought about that. I'm like, dude, I just want to like lock myself in a room with like treats.
So what do you want to do in there, right? Do you want to just lock yourself in a room and just have time to just be you and be weird and have everyone leave you the F alone? And like, that's probably what you need.
Yeah.
It's not, and actually doesn't have to do with the treats.
Yeah.
And then also, are you depriving yourself in other ways? There's so much hydration. What's your job? Are you miserable at your job?
Yeah.
Like
this,
all of it.
Miserable.
Well, more for Caitlin, but
yeah, literally. This is an interesting one that I'm curious about. Food combining.
Okay, so I used to follow food combining. I would teach the principles because it was kind of like a 101 in gut health. And then I did some research and spoke with some doctors. And what they explained to me is when it gets to your gut, it doesn't fall in there and get processed in layers. So we may eat from heavy to light, but when it lands in there, there's not really enough time where it's kind of like it's not an ombre situation happening in your digestive.
What is that like sand thing we used to make? Like those like sand art?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
like for your
those
parents.
Called? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what those are called. They still make them though.
Yeah.
My daughter's been at like an art class or two where she's come home with a little plastic thing.
You're like, what do I do?
I'm like,
with this?
oh God, the bucket.
Whenever I
crap.
babysit, they're like, please take this home.
Yes,
it's like a rock with like a paper clip on it.
Take a photo and send it on its way. So the doctors I've spoken to say that there isn't really the medical science behind it. However, a lot of people and clients that I've spoken to say they swear by it and they feel much better when they practice those principles. So again, there may not be science there, but sometimes there doesn't need to be science there.
Yeah.
You can just do what feels good for you and your gut. So I always say with that one, I do not personally kind of air quote prescribe it for my community, but if intuitively it feels like it's right for you, go for it.
Good one.
And then what's the best drink?
Cocktail booze.
If we must indulge from Erica.
She's like, knows who to ask the question to.
Yeah.
So anything that comes like straight from a plant without it being screwed around with, essentially. So I recommend usually tequila. I like vodka, but from plant sources. So you can get like not from wheat, for example, like from potatoes.
What's
they make
from
vodka.
wheat? Like what's an example?
It's traditional.
Okay.
Yeah. And I always do say.
So then it's not gluten free?
Yeah, exactly. And Tito's, I do need to say, is GMO corn. So everyone's all on the Tito's kick. So do not.
Damn.
Yeah.
How did you find that out?
GMO. I asked.
So you emailed them?
Yeah.
What
Love
vodka?
that.
What's that?
What vodka do you love? Like a Belvedere?
I like Chopin.
Chopin. Yeah.
I like Chopin.
too.
Is really good, but I don't drink a lot of vodka.
Yeah.
I drink, if I go for gold, I go for tequila. I go, my old dirty days was whiskey.
Really?
Jameson and ginger. Double
fucking love that.
Double Jameson and ginger. You'll hear me order one from time to time.
Damn.
And
I could hold
a night when I'm at
Jameson.
a fish show with my husband. What's that?
I could definitely hold. I could easily take 7 shots. I was bartender.
Oh,
easily take 7 shots.
Would you
of
actually
Jameson.
take the shots when people would do them?
But I wouldn't feel it when I was working. But then I'd like get off shift and be like, 4 a.m. And then like, I wouldn't be wasted, but I was like, oh, like,
Yeah.
And then go to the diner and eat like grilled
Mott's
cheese.
Mott's fries. Yeah, I'm kind of an all or nothing girl.
Damn.
It's like I'm out having my drinks or
Same.
I'm doing nothing. Like I'm having seltzer
Dude,
with
hilarious.
lemon.
So random side note, Cardi B
Yeah.
bought a Lambo And people were like, oh, you bought a Lambo, like you leased it or like you bought it on credit or something. So she put a screenshot of her Wells Fargo of the taking out. So it was like taking out $530,000. Right below that was Waffle House. Swear to fucking
God bless
God.
her.
I was
love
like,
her.
oh my God, my head's gonna fucking explode. It's like a fucking $600,000 car in the fucking Waffle House. I'm like, oh.
That's Cardi B. But I'm actually glad that you brought up Cardi B because I want to give her a little shout out that she canceled her tour with Bruno Mars because she was scheduled to go on tour 6 weeks after having her child. She spoke with the doctor. The doctor's like, I don't recommend you bring this baby newborn with you on tour. And it's a little early to leave it. And she literally is walking away from that massive opportunity because motherhood is different than what she thought it would be. And I just want to give her a little shout out because it will whip you 6 ways sideways and you got to listen to your gut. And she is. So
what about
go
it?
Girl. What about motherhood?
It's fucking crazy.
Oh my God. It's all
So
crazy.
you have a daughter. She's 2.5.
I have a daughter. She's 2.5. Started at the beginning, like I did not want to get pregnant. I wanted to have a family at some point, but it happened real fast for me, which was a gift, of course. I think everyone involved, the universe, God, all the powers, but I really wasn't ready. My book was coming out 2 weeks before the baby came out. So the timing of that, but at the end of the day, it ended up being the biggest gift because it forced me to get real, like narrow-minded in the best way around my work. I didn't have time to dabble and dawdle and debate whether I was good enough or smart enough or new enough. I just had to go. And then she came and, breastfeeding, I'm fortunate that breastfeeding, I don't want to say it was easy for me. My God, it was, so much work, but it happened. But what no one told me was how much time breastfeeding was. Like, it's literally like, that's your entire life, hour upon hour upon hour upon hour upon hour upon hour. And it was magical and I got through it and moments that were tough. And I called myself, I was like the captain of my boobs. And I'd be like, every time I got in the shower, I'd like squeeze that nipple. Okay, milk's coming out of that one. Squeeze that. I mean, like you do the most gross things. And I like to make sure that you're working. But it was just wild. It's to watch this human that you love, that your heart is bursting and you like you can't breathe without them, but like you need to breathe without them. And like you need to have your time for you and take care of mama and do your things. But it's this unbelievable, ferocious push-pull of love and insanity and beauty and pain and just the visceralness of like love in every moment.
Beautiful.
Damn, we had another interview this morning that was like really mother-daughter focused, and the ferocity of the love was there too. That was beautiful. That was fucking crazy. That was the most beautiful thing I've heard in my whole life.
Thanks.
And you said you still breastfeed, yeah?
I do still. So, I'm not shy. My daughter's just turned 2.5 and I nurse her sometimes once a day, sometimes twice a day, sometimes no times a day. We're still kind of like I would say we're dabblers. But in the moments when it's great, it is so great. And it's helpful in our lives because we do live kind of all over the place and we travel so much and our schedules are not consistent. So that is something that is consistent for her and she loves it. And I have that, like, I don't want to say love hate, but there's definitely moments where I'm enjoying it and moments where I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to be doing this right now. But I am so grateful for that connection that I have with her. And I would say if breastfeeding is important to you, it's worth working on it. Yeah. And it's everyone needs to work on it. It's not something that we can be taught in one lactation session. We do need to read the books and get the support and have the communities and know that if it's not right for you, that's okay. But if this is something you want, you're going to need a lot of help. And that's part of it.
Are you still producing as much milk as you were?
I have no idea. I don't even know what she's gotten. I think so. Yeah,
how does that work? Right?
I see it. Yeah.
So
they say it goes until she stops, but some people's do dry up. I mean, they say dry up. I mean, maybe I emotionally haven't dried it up yet either. And that's another tip I think about for breastfeeding moms. Like when I was pumping or nursing, I was thinking about the milk, like visually going through and just like flooding, like I have enough milk and it flows easily, like using that mind frame, using those visions, using that connection to self in every experience.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Boobs for all.
Yeah, boobs for all. Milky booby for all.
She calls it milkies.
She does?
Yeah, milkies. Because the milk in a bottle is milk in a bottle, and my milk is milkies.
Oh my God.
I know. It's real cute. It's real cute. And I do kind of feel like a warrior. I'm like, I have a freaking 2.5-year-old hanging off my boob. Cheers to me.
Do you do it in public?
It's really just like a little bit before bed, or sometimes if we're traveling, but I wouldn't be shy about it. I also crave my daughter seeing other moms nursing, because I'm like, she never sees anybody. It's like, I really do. I want to empower everyone to feed their babies, whether it's a bottle or a boob, in public, so we can see that this is a part of being a mom, and just kind of send you some energetic love, because we need it.
We interrupt this episode to bring you a word from our sponsor, Hum Nutrition. How do they do it? They just keep upgrading. I'm sorry. The new collagen pop from Hum Nutrition is my go-to. This is going to make your skin look supple as hell. It is going to upgrade your water. It's delicious. It's premium marine collagen, which is highly absorbable and what we prefer. But Hum Nutrition is your one-stop shop for all high-quality vitamins. It's really hard to surpass these strict regulations in the vitamin industry, and they meet all of the high quality standards, and leading nutritionists recommend Hum across the country, all over the world. They always have an outstanding experience with this brand. So how it works, you go on to humnutrition.com, you take a 3-minute quiz. It's like a little questionnaire, and they will create your own unique vitamin and supplement profile. And then you get a free nutritionist report. So a personal registered dietitian will review your data and then send you a personal profile and then some recommendations. And then you can customize your cart, whether using all of those recommendations or picking and choosing. And then you get them, and then you change your life. Okay? Hum Nutrition has definitely changed my life. Right now, I am obsessed with the red carpet. So I'm just all about glowing skin, really healthy, beautiful hair. It's a staple of mine. Love it so much. And as always, the raw beauty powder that I put into basically every one of my smoothies. And the collagen pop, as I mentioned before, got it in my purse right now. Little sparkly collagen pop. Love it. humnutrition.com. Use our code almost30nation for 15% off your first order. So that's humnutrition.com. Almost30nation is the code, and you get 15% off your first order. This episode is also brought to you by Simple Contacts. I am the worst when it comes to making appointments, to have my eyes checked, to update my prescription for my contacts. It's across the board for me. So I really, really appreciate a company like Simple Contacts, who is making this task pretty easy for me. So here's how it works. Using your phone or computer, you can take the Simple Contacts vision test in literally 5 minutes. It took me maybe 4.5, from anywhere, your couch, your office, the airport, it doesn't really matter. And then a real doctor reviews your test within 24 hours and writes you a new prescription. And then that's it. A fresh supply of your brand of contact lenses is on its way to your door. So there's no appointments, no more waiting rooms, and no more overpaying. Simple Contacts brings the doctor's office to wherever you are and wherever you need. And if you have an unexpired prescription, you just have to upload a photo of it or your doctor's info, and then you order your lenses in minutes. It's literally too easy. I don't really know how else to explain it. Just cuts the time more than in half, and they do all of the hard work for you. So for our listeners, you can get $20 off at simplecontacts.com/almost, or you can just enter code almost at checkout. So that's $20 off, simplecontacts.com/almost, or you can enter our code almost, ALMOST. You can just save time, save money, and honestly just save yourself the headache of going to the doctor's office and getting your contacts. Simple Contacts makes it easy.
Adrenal fatigue.
What do you do? It's not something that I'm an expert in.
Yeah.
I really try and say, honestly,
Fuck.
like, of course, nourishing
Mad
your gut
love.
is going to help, but like there's definitely people who are experts in that can
fucking love
connect
that.
on it.
For us.
Know thyself.
Binge eating and emotional eating.
Oh, what about it?
I know.
A little booger on there. How to help train your
child. There's like boogies like everywhere.
How to train your mind and body to curb the behavior.
I'm going to throw meditation on that one. I really am.
Oh, that's a good one.
Do you have a meditation practice? And if you don't have one, find one that works for you. I recently took a course called Ziva Meditation, Ziva, by my friend Emily, who just became a new mom. And I learned, and it was a 15-day online like digital course. And I learned that like I'd been meditating. People kind of taught me how to meditate, but I never like learned it from the ground up. And taking this course, I was like, it just gave me so many more tidbits that really served a real meditation practice. And it took meditation from something I should be doing or sometimes could do into something that became a part of me. And so I would say for something like that, dive fully into it. And obviously there's other tips, around making sure that you're eating enough during your meals. Where's the behavior coming from? What's going on? I was unhappy in my life when I was binging the most. And even in moments when I was happy in my life, I wasn't nutritionally fed. So look at the practical, look at what's on your plate, and then look at the emotional and what's going on. And that's what I, spoke about earlier, the physical and emotional weight that we're carrying around. Like where is that coming from? Because it's never just one.
That's beautiful. Intermittent fasting. Do you do that, or what are your thoughts?
I'm glad someone asked this because I get asked this a lot.
welcome.
I know, because I'm like, I get asked it a lot. And I didn't put it in the book. So here's my thoughts on it. I do a modified, very light version of intermittent fasting. So that's my having some kind of bulletproof style drink in the morning, and then I'll have my power parfait, my breakfast later on. So I am getting a decent window in there.
What time do you have breakfast?
So I typically, the breakfast will come at like 11 after my workout. And my dinner ranges. Sometimes I'll have dinner at 6. Sometimes it will be at 8. So it's not a big window there. It's not like what they would classically call intermittent fasting, but I consider it intermittent fasting if I'm not waking up and having breakfast within an hour of eating, essentially. Here's my thing, and here's everything in the Robyn world. I don't call it intermittent fasting, because what I found is the second you give something a label or a name or lean into the trend of something, again, it goes into that camp of, oh, I'm doing it, I'm good. I'm not doing it, I'm bad. And so much can fall into that. So I tend to try and be like, okay, well, what's the practice or the habit or the support that I'm getting through that? And I focus on that rather than the like name, the headliner of it.
That's such a good point.
Yeah, Justin's like, why is it called intermittent fasting? It's called skipping breakfast. Literally. It's like what it's he's like, literally, why is it called that?
Jay.
Well, because it is also, I think personally, adding in a fat drink before, and that could be a smoothie or that could be, people have all these different shades of gray.
I know.
And also
around
it helps like at night if people are eating super late. So maybe it's helping them to monitor,
the eating window.
The eating window. Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. And again, I'm speaking to my emotional eaters, right?
Yeah.
And I know my girls, like
Emos.
second we call it something, we're like, oh, I'm intermittent fasting. You've taken the power away from you and put it into a diet or a trend or fad.
Good one.
Talk more. Can you just like expand on that a little bit more?
Because my ultimate goal is that you know what's best for you. And so I'm going to bring it back again and again and again to you asking yourself, well, how does that sound to you? What does that feel like for you? How does that go? And yes, there needs to be a little bit of cleanup first before you can really hear people are like, well, what if my gut tells me I have to have French fries? It's like, well, there might be a little pre-work, a little foundational work to do before, it's telling you that, and that you should listen, or you should, say, well, what else is going on here? But really, how can you become your own best coach, your own best guide, your own best intuitive around your food and your life and everything? And so it's really working that muscle. So even when you don't think you need to ask your intuition what you want for lunch that day, still ask. Even though most of my days look the way that I described in our chat, I still ask, do you want a power parfait today? And sometimes I hear that I don't, but it's rare, but it's nice to get that yes, because that yes means that if I have a business decision I need to make later, I could go through that same process and that yes or no will be stronger. And this is all coming from I'm a Libra. So I'm the queen of indecision. And this is how I have marathoned, half marathon trained my way through that and out of that.
Yeah, it translates completely. I feel like, if you're indecisive about what you're going to eat, you're going to be indecisive about so many other things. I forget if you mentioned this before. Are you vegetarian?
Okay. So my big coming out party. So I was pescatarian for 20 years, maybe longer. Wait, 25 years? 16. I became pescatarian. And then when I was family planning, pre getting pregnant, I was really craving meat. And I started to eat a little bit. And so now I kind of eat everything. And my husband is still pescatarian. So he ate meat before he met me. And then I gave him this book and then he read it. And now he still won't. I forgot the name. Jonathan Safran for Eating Animals.
That was my number one book.
Yep. That was the one that turned him. And
for some reason you said that. I was like, Eating Animals.
You're it's that one. And since my daughter, so that was 3 years ago, I have eaten some animal protein. And really, again, I listened to my gut. I went through stages with it where it's all I wanted. And now I'm kind of it's not what I want. So again, going with my gut, recommending that others do the same. But I haven't still really told my family about that.
Really?
Because
are they...
They're just not on the organic grass-fed train as much as I am. And I don't want to explain myself at family times. I'm just not interested in explaining myself. I don't want to have to defend or have to go to that
family.
place.
It's I don't want to talk about this. Why are we talking about this?
Yeah, let's talk. There's so much more to talk about.
Literally, we sit down for dinner. She's like, yeah, I understand vegetarian, but I don't really know about being vegan. I'm like,
Terry.
I literally, Terry. Literally, I have no idea why we're talking about it. It's people want to talk about it more than you want to talk about it.
It's usually I find my family's overall pretty healthy, but my dad will go through periods and he'll just be like, well, come on. Why can't you just, we're here. You can be a little bad. And
Justin
I'm
does that to me.
It doesn't have to do with that.
I'm okay. I get you. I get it. Cause I'll have moments where I'm I'm going to enjoy this and indulge and do whatever. But I also, in that case, I don't want to be kind of pressured like that.
Yeah.
Because then the food's coming in and I'm having this weird guilt about not standing in my truth. You. Yeah, I want it to be on my own accord, on my own
Justin's
time.
Come on. He's come on, be bad. I'm I don't want to be bad right now.
Yeah, everyone in everyone's life support.
Yeah.
What would be, and if you don't know, what would be supportive right now? And I actually just had a little aha moment in my head. I'm realizing that I was using pescatarianism as a way to control, to say no to that much of the menu.
Yeah, I feel that.
And then I realized when I started to eat more this way and get much more in tune with my body and really finally let the diet mentality go, I didn't need that additional layer of control. I could trust myself.
Yeah.
And here we are.
feel
And then
that
also
too.
when I cut out meat so long ago, there weren't the choices and the options and the information as much that we have now. But really, I support all. I work with vegans to omnivores, really the whole range of clients. In my books, I have a chicken marbella and there's a sprouted tofu marbella, and they are both equally as delicious. So I'm very, very conscious of plant-based peeps.
Tell us about your books.
So my first book, Go With Your Gut, that came out 2.5 years ago. And that's kind of like a digestive health primer. And it has more subjects in it. So it's about shopping and cravings and probiotics. And then after that book came out, some of my tools in there. So after
these are awesome.
After that book came out, thank you. My publisher was like, we want a weight loss book. I was like, F you, I don't want to write a weight loss book. Who the hell wants to talk about weight loss? And then I realized, well, that's what I was talking about all day long in my coaching programs. And that I had something different to say about it, that I could reframe it and reshape it and say, okay, we can nourish our guts. We can focus there. We can clean that up. And then we can connect that to how are we feeling in our bodies? What is the conversation we need to have around our weight? Because I realized almost everything is more important than how much we weigh on a scale. However, you still deserve to feel amazing in your body. And you can be a spiritual person and feel good and great in your life and still want to lose weight. And that's okay. And I can be a voice for that in a very sane and supported way.
Wow. I'm going to get lost.
I know. I love this. It's beautiful. I see the kombucha question.
Yes. So I get that question a lot because it has sugar. So people are like, well, so kombucha is a fermented tea. There's an organism that's introduced to it that creates probiotics in the environment, and the drink has probiotics. But that organism, a SCOBY, needs sugar. So it eats the sugar to create the probiotics. It's like its diet essentially.
Gross.
And some people say it is real like science lab, but I love that stuff.
The
I was the
word
girl.
SCOBY.
I know,
See you later.
I know. But I was the girl who was like doing the, the weird stuff in science class, and loving it. So they say that the SCOBY eats all the sugar. That's not true. There's still some sugar in there. So that's like a trade-off, right? So you're getting some good bacteria, but you're also getting a little sugar. Some people are okay with a little bit of sugar.
Yeah.
It's really in portion. And the tip I like to give around kombucha is we are drinking way too much of it. It's supposed to be in like a shot glass, like 2 to 4 ounces. So I let you get away with like 6. But those whole bottles, those are 2 servings. So what I recommend doing is 4 to 6 ounces in a glass, and then cut the rest with sparkling water or seltzer. And then you feel like you're having a big old booch. You'll save money that way too.
Love that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Health Aid has the half things now.
They do. They're
minis.
so cute. They're so smart.
Yeah,
so smart. Yeah.
Because it's like,
it's too much. We're not supposed to have that much.
Yeah.
More in the health world is definitely not more.
yeah. Last thing. Sorry. I really
No, go for
love
it.
this. The 1, 2, 3 food freedom tool, and then the 4, 5, 6 eat and complete practice. Can you talk about that? It's so cool.
1, 2, 3 food freedom is basically my way to get you to chew more. So 1 is, and I want to look at the 4, 5, 6 because I'm like, what? I mixed those ones up. I'm like, I need that one. I'm like, I wrote this. I was pregnant when I wrote this. I'm like, something. I'm like, I wrote that. Wow. I was like, did I write that or did the baby write that? So step 1 in food freedom tool is to look at your food. So take in whatever you're eating.
I think about that all the time. Sometimes I'm like, I haven't looked at what I'm putting in my mouth.
It's a huge step. We all want to be eating more mindfully, eating more intuitively. Here's the roadmap. So 1, take a look. And also I really highlight this, that it doesn't matter what you're eating. We tend to skip over this one, especially if it's like a food we think we shouldn't have. So really, no matter what it is. Step 2, take a breath. Again, talking about pooping earlier on the potty, coming into body. Come into body when you're about to eat. And also that helps you relax your belly, which helps you relax your digestive system, which helps you digest your food better. And then step 3, this is my favorite. People call me, I'm like the queen of this, to chew. So chew your food completely. Ideally
really
to liquid before swallowing. Again, we're all like, well, slow down or, eat for at least 30 minutes. Like just focus on the chewing. That will have everything else happen. So 1, 2, 3, look, breathe, chew. If you just remember the chewing, that's fine. And then I have the 4, 5, 6, eat and complete. So 4 is to rest and digest. So we've talked a lot about like getting a lunch break or taking your time with your food, but your body actually needs a few minutes after you've completed it. So finish your food, go for a walk around the block. I don't know, listen to a podcast for even just 5 minutes. Just do something before you go into the next thing because your body does need all your resources for you to be able to digest that food. Step number 5, mark the end. So put your food away, clean up, or just say thank you. Like, thank you for that meal. Just something that's like a period. I think of that as the period on the end of the sentence. So you're not leaving it open-ended. So we're not like eating through the whole rest of our day. And then step 6 is, this is a good one if you feel like you need it, is pause and reflect and see, how did you feel from that? Our bodies are talking to us all the time. Sometimes I'll eat something and I'll be like, I did not like that. Well, what was it? Like, remember, like take a minute to get that information because we have so much information and how many times a day do we eat, right? So taking a moment to take it in and see what it is. And do you need it? And it might just be, I feel great. Great. Every time you note you feel great, you're feeding the I feel great, bag.
I love food so much that like it makes me sad when I like speed through it.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
The
It
chewing.
makes me
that
seriously
slows
sad.
you down. Slows you down.
It feels so good.
I know that's really why I think I created all these practices was so I could just hang out eating for as long as humanly
truly.
possible.
No, this is a really valuable book. Thin from Within.
Thank you.
The Go With Your Gut Way to Lose Weight. Thank you so much. This is like bevy with serious
amazing
information.
I was just thinking, I'm like, oh, this is such a good one.
Thanks, ladies.
Girls are gonna
means
love
so
it.
much to
Where
me.
can,
Thank you.
Where can our babes find you?
So my name, Robyn Youkilis, ROBYN YOUKILIS. That will be in the show notes, but also my book, Thin from Within. You can grab my author name and then head to my website from there as well. And it's available on all local bookshops pretty much and Amazon. It's sold out actually, and it just came back in stock on Amazon. Yeah, we just did an emergency reprint, which took 2 months. I was like, oh my God. Well, my publisher was like, go sell books. I was like, okay, I sold the books. I was like, where's the rest of the book? She's like, you sold all the books. So I was like, okay.
That's great.
Yeah, because in the book, I have a 3-day gut healing reset. So it's not a detox. It's just to get you meal prepping essentially and like eating this way and getting familiar with it. And I did a free global reset and we had thousands of people from around the world and they bought up all the books. So I'm not complaining. It's great. This is like, I had a moment on my way over here in traffic and I was like, freaking out and there's so much going on. I spilled my yogurt everywhere and, you know, my husband needs me and everyone needs me. And I just had this moment where I put on that song, cue song in a moment. And I literally, all I heard from my gut and I saw on the screen in front of me were the words, "It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about all of you listening, because being stuck in food hell sucks. It sucks to not feel good in your body. It sucks to feel controlled by what you're putting on your plate and the choices you're making. And all I want for you is to feel like you've got this, you can do this, and you're freaking amazing, because you are."
Damn, you fucking murdered this. It's crazy. You fucking killed this.
Thanks, babe.
Like, wow. We should do an event.
You channel really well.
I'd love to do an event. Yeah, you channel really well. We crush events if you wanted to know about a little bit about us.
I was going to say, should we do it? I'm a big event girl. I used to be a clipboard girl. So I was like doing all the events and stuff and producing them.
We have them coming out of our ass, but
let's do an event. Do you guys want us? Do you want us to do an event? Give us a little holler.
Yeah.
Remember to subscribe and to comment and to like and do all that. I'm going to give them a little
She's like, it's in the show notes. I'm like, who's doing this interview here, Robyn? Let me have my thing. You know, literally. Come on. Hey guys, subscribe, rate, and review. Krista told you to do it. All right, we love you. We will see you soon. Please connect with Robyn. And then she said it all. Okay. I love you guys. Bye.
Enjoy the song.
Love you. Enjoy the song.
How about it?
How about that? I love that. Gut related to intuition, kind of like seeing the gut as such an integrative part to your health, wellness, and spirituality. Mm-hmm. So cool.
Yeah, I can never learn enough.
I know. I love it. It's just a good health one. I'm like, we needed like a little dose of health with Robyn. She's so fun. So Robyn Youkilis, the book is Thin from Within. It's great. I have it at my house and I read it. And wanted to read the review of the week from Hannah L. Davis. Thank you, sweet one. 5 stars. This podcast has truly inspired my leap into the more spiritual, holistic world. The guests they have on are so knowledgeable, comforting, and real. I listen to this podcast when I drive, when I work out, and when I just need to clear my head. I always leave feeling refreshed and inspired. The topics on health and fitness were what drew me to Almost 30, but I've learned so much more about spirituality, healing, and wellness than I could have ever imagined. Please come to Nashville. We are trying, and we will be there next year.
We have a whole list.
Yes.
Whole list of places
Nashville,
that we need to go to. Philadelphia,
Minneapolis,
DC, Ohio,
Atlanta. Yeah, Columbus.
Totally.
Columbus.
Thank you for that. That's very sweet.
Yep.
And thank you to everyone like who we run into in person too, not just on the tour, but we do run into people all the time. And you guys are so sweet and cool. And of course, we want to talk to you and connect with you. And you always just say the nicest things that remind us why we do this. It's the best. So thanks for listening. You can, again, join our secret Facebook group. It's popping off as per usual. And it's just such a supportive, wonderful community. And almost30podcast.com/tours, where you can get tickets for our remaining stops this year. And you can find us on Instagram at almost30podcast. Connect with us, DM us, tag us, all of that.
Love you.
Love you.
Goodbye.